Welcome to Wellness Insights with Dr. Chalmers, and I'm Dr. Chalmers. So today we're going to talk a little bit about testosterone. People ask me all the time, hey, give me the information on tests. So here's the thing, it's fantastic. It is it's probably the number 2 thing I think people can do long term to ensure high quality health and wellness. So I want to kind of go over the goods and the bads and the myths and all that type of stuff with testosterone real quick. So testosterone is an anabolic hormone. Okay, there's actually lots of different things that fit into that testosterone window. So, you have testosterone cypionate, enanthate, propionate. You have trenbolone. There's a whole bunch of stuff that kind of goes in there. Deca, Winstrol, D-ball. There's tons and tons and tons of them that are referred to as testosterone analogs, or something that works on the receptor site just like testosterone does. So that's a little bit different conversation. But just for what testosterone is and what it does, testosterone is the healing hormone. It's what tells your bones to get stronger. So it'll go in and tell the osteoblast, the little cell inside the bone that makes more bone. It tells it, hey man, reach out there and grab some calcium out of the blood and make more bone out of it. It tells your muscle to knit together more muscle tissue, create more muscles. It says, hey, see that damaged ligament? See that damaged tendon? See that damaged muscle? Let's rebuild that. Let's make that stronger. Everybody knows about testosterone and muscles like pecs and biceps and butt and legs. And that's true. It'll make all those muscles healthier and bigger and stronger. But your heart is also a muscle. So if you've ever thought, I don't want to have a heart attack, I don't want to have heart failure, testosterone is going to be something you need to take a look at. Your blood vessels all have everything in your body that carries blood is a blood vessel. All those blood vessels have muscles on the center of them called the tunica media. If that muscle gets weak, the blood vessel can collapse. So think of a straw. I think most of us have tried to suck a milkshake through a straw, and you suck real hard and the straw collapses and you get no fluid, no milkshake through the straw. The same thing can happen in blood vessels. If the blood vessel collapses, the blood doesn't flow through it very well. So it slows down. As it slows down, it can start to coagulate. As it coagulates and becomes a clot and a little clump, that can stop in the lungs, the heart, or the brain, which is a pulmonary embolism, a heart attack, or a stroke. And so then you're dead. That's how we get DVTs, the deep vein thrombosis. So the healthier the blood vessel, the healthier the body, and the healthier the person. All of that is made better with testosterone. Energy levels, big time deal with testosterone. Brain function, anxiety and depression in men. Tons of anxiety and depression in men is alleviated with addition of testosterone. Libido in men, oftentimes is a big issue with testosterone. Bring that up, gets better, everything's better. Erectile dysfunction, low testosterone causes ED all the time. Funny piece about that. So I had a story. I love this story. I had a lady, she's about 55, come in, and she comes up to me and she goes, hey, I had the first orgasm I've had in 5 years last night. She goes, was that the testosterone? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, okay, lead with that next time. You never even told me. And so I had a laugh and I was like, okay, well, I guess you can understand why I didn't want to talk about, orgasm function with women, but that was my fault. That was something that's health. That's massive on quality of life. That's something that everybody needs to hear. The reason that works is because embryonically, so when we're all being created, the penis and the clitoris is the exact same tissue. So if testosterone will help restore nerve and blood flow to the penis, it will also help restore nerve and blood flow to the clitoris, allowing for more sensitivity, more function, and yes, more and stronger orgasms. So that's a quality of life piece that a lot of women have come back and told us, hey, I like this. It also helps in fat loss. Why? Because it helps increase metabolism by increasing muscle density. As the muscle's density increases, the need for ATP increases because we have more mitochondria. So your body's like, look, I built a bigger engine, which is the muscle. I need more fuel to run said engine. Well, that's why when you start taking testosterone, you start losing fat because your body starts rebuilding the infrastructure, the bones, the ligaments, the tendons, the muscles, restoring tone, building everything back up. That's why we start losing fat. That's also why all of a sudden now when we go to the gym, we can start seeing gains. We can start seeing our muscles grow back. We can start seeing the fat come off easier. Is because we've extended what we call the point of diminishing returns. So for instance, if you go to the gym and you have low T and no energy and not enough amino acids, and you work out real hard and you break your body down 4 units, but your body only has the ability to rebuild 2 or 3 units, you're pushing yourself away from health, not towards it. Now, if you sleep more and you have more testosterone, you drink more water, you get more amino acids, and you break yourself down those 4 units, but now your body has the ability to build back 5 or 6 units, you're gonna be pushing yourself towards health, not away from it. And so that's where testosterone comes in. Now, I'd like to throw a quick caveat out and say that not everyone should just start sticking themselves with testosterone. If you're a teenager, herbs will work just as well. A little extra sleep, a little better food, you'll be great. 25, 35, 45, you guys have high stress, you've had stress for a while, maybe you've got some kids, life is just a beating. Your test might not be coming back. So let's test you, figure out where you're at. Maybe we try herbs for 6, 8 weeks, 10 weeks. If it doesn't work, then we go to testosterone. But this conversation isn't for teenagers. This conversation is more for people who are in their late 20s, early mid 30s. Those are the people who need to start worrying about what's going on with their testosterone. So now we talked about all the fantastic greatness of it and how awesome it is and all the great things. I do want to talk about some of the negative things that do come up from it. So, heart attacks and strokes are a possibility. However, testosterone is actually extremely safe. If you want to avoid a heart attack and a stroke, what you do is you keep the H and H, the hemoglobin and hematocrit, within normal levels. So what happens is any hydraulic system, you have a pump which creates flow, and you have pipes and you have fluid. Now the pump, by definition, cannot create flow and pressure because pressure is resistance to flow. Now the pipe, if it gets plaquing in it, and thus the amount of area inside the pipe, the lumen, gets occluded, it's like sticking your thumb over the end of a water hose. You'll all notice pressure goes up. If the fluid gets thicker, we have to push harder to get the fluid to go throughout the body. So if the H and H, or the viscosity, the thickness of the blood goes up, your heart will have to work harder pushing it around the body. So as long as we watch the H and H, and we do that with a simple blood draw, quarterly, if you will, comes back and says, oh, your H and H is getting a little high. Cool. Swing down to Carter, donate blood, save 3, maybe 4 lives, including your own, and everything gets better. So boom. The scariest thing about testosterone can easily be monitored with, a quick blood draw that you do quarterly. So every 3 months, you go in, you do a blood draw, you figure out you're fine, you move on down the road, or you find out you have a problem, you go donate, and then you're fine, you move on down the road. So not really scary. Okay. The other piece that is a thing, acne, you can get more acne because your body creates more sebum or more oil. If your body has, pore issues where your pores get clogged easy, then you can have cystic acne, you can have normal acne, you can have all sorts of things like that. You will also sometimes get oilier. Some people love it because they don't get as ashy. Some people like it because they just feel healthier, and your skin is healthier if it has more oil on it. And some people hate it. So that's kind of how as long as you don't have acne, the oil thing, I think, is kind of a personal choice deal. It can darken hair that's on your body. So for when we work with women, I tell them you're not going to grow any extra hair, but the hair that's already on your body, your legs, your face, whatever, might thicken and darken. And we've had a lot of women who come back after they've been on testosterone for a little while, and they feel so good. Their energy is so high. Their sex function is so great. Their mental clarity is up where they want it to be. Their sleep is great. Everything's so much better. They're like, I don't care. I'll shave. I'd rather shave 2 or 3 times a week and feel like this than not have to shave and feel like I used to. Cool. That's your call, right? If you want to do that, that's your call. If the acne is not a problem, great. It can deepen your voice sometimes in some people. We try to avoid that. It can also convert into 2 different chemicals, estrogen, which is bad for women and bad for men. It causes bloating and weight and water weight retention and things like that. Excess estrogen can cause all sorts of issues in women. and it also converts to dihydrotestosterone, which is bad for men because it beats up the prostate, but it also makes people lose hair. So cypionate converts like nandrolone, decanate doesn't. Some of the other hormones don't. But that's how that works. Now that we've just talked about how estrogen's bad, the thing I love about testosterone, especially in women, is women will come in and they'll tell me, I've got no muscle mass, I'm gaining fat, I have no energy, I have no sex drive. When I do have sex, it's kind of blah. And I have night sweats and vaginal dryness, and my life is just miserable. Well, okay, here's the thing. Some of those are testosterone problems and some of those are estrogen issues. But like I just said, testosterone will convert into estrogen. So oftentimes you can just give a woman testosterone, let it convert into estrogen, and her hot flashes, night sweats, vaginal dryness, joint pain, and headaches, those all go away. And then she starts getting all the benefits from the testosterone as well. So you can kill two birds with one stone with testosterone cypionate with a lot of women. So you don't necessarily need to give them extra estrogen. If they're not trying to have a baby, what we normally look at is, do you have symptoms associated with low estrogen, which again are hot flashes, night sweats, vaginal dryness, joint pain, and headaches. If you don't have any of those, let's not give you any more estrogen, because all of the research we have on hormone therapy and cancer, specifically breast, cervical, ovarian, all of that cancer is linked to estrogen therapy. So let's just not give you any more estrogen than you need to have a high quality of life. So that's kind of how that little piece runs. So that's kind of the long and short on testosterone and how it kind of works both with men and women. There's some neat little fun ways around that though. So around the side effects. So let's say that your body, this is not exactly how it works. I'm just trying to explain it. So don't come back and be like, you said the body did this. That's not how it works. But so let's say your body comes through and says, hey man, I am good with 7 units of testosterone. Any more than that, and I'm going to freak out and convert them and do all sorts of crazy things, and you're going to have all these side effects. Cool. You give yourself 10 units. The body goes, that's more than 7. I already told you. And so your facial hair starts darkening. You get acne. Your voice starts changing or whatever, right? Well, but you had to give yourself 10 units to get the amount of medication in that you wanted for the week, right? Because testosterone has a 7-day half-life. So if you give yourself a shot on Monday, when it rolls back around to Monday, that 10 units you gave you is only going to be 5. All right. Well, here's the fun thing you can do. You can say, all right, what if we decrease the amount we injected at one time and did 2 injections per week? Okay. Remember, it's a 7-day half-life. So if you go to 7, by the time in a couple of days, it gets down to 4 or 5, you do another injection, brings you back up. You can always kind of stay at that level where your body is the most efficient, feels the best without having side effects. So by giving yourself injections twice or 3 times a week, we can dial in that number really, really well where you have no side effects, but you get the maximum benefit. I will tell you 3 times a week is kind of a pain. Twice a week's not. And the reason is because it's 3 times a week is it's always alternating, right? But twice a week it's going to be every Tuesday, Friday. It's going to be every Monday, Thursday. So those work out a little bit easier. So if you're at home and you're already on test and you're like, hey, yeah, I don't like some of these side effects, or I feel this giant crash, like the shot day is awesome, but the day before shot day sucks, talk to your doc and be like, hey, can I take my 1 cc but split it up and take 0.5 on Monday and 0.5 on Thursday? Most docs will be cool with that, but talk to them first and then kind of work through it. Because you're obviously going to need more syringes and needles and stuff. But still, never, ever make a change to your medical program or your workout program or your diet program without consulting the guy that you're working with, girl, you're working with on it. Because if we think that we're walking down this road over here on the left and you went and heard a podcast or you did something else and didn't tell us and made a change, and now you're over here on the right, 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 5 months down the road, you come up and you're like, I've got these issues. And we're like, I don't understand how you have these issues. And you're like, well, 6 months ago, I did this major change. And we're like, what the hell? Like, at least clue us in. So if you come in and kind of tell your doc, tell your person what's going on, they'll be able to help you with it. Now, the other caveat to that is if you say, hey man, this is my body. here's the information, here's what I want to do, and here's why. And your person just says flat out no without giving you reasons, get a second or third opinion. Don't just decide that person's a moron and then you need to go do something else. Get a couple more opinions. But it is, at the end of the day, it is your body. Find the guy or girl or person who's going to work with you to get you where you want to go. But do make sure you find somebody to work with. Don't just do things willy-nilly. But yeah, that's kind of the long and short on testosterone. I could sit here and talk to people about it for days, but that's kind of the long and short. There are testosterones that are better for cutting or for fat loss. There's some that are better for bulking, muscle gain, mass gain. Cypionate's actually a pretty good drug. It's real easy to deal with. We've been researching it and watching what people do with it, use and abuse for 60 years. So we're really good on it. I happen to really like nandrolone decanate as well. Deca does not convert to estrogen or DHT, so it works really well for guys who have joint issues, guys who have prostate issues. Like a lot of guys will come in and tell me that they want to be on TRT, testosterone replacement, and you just ask them, you have any prostate issues in your family? And they're like, oh yeah, my dad, my uncle, my cousin Vin, like all these guys have had it. You're like, okay, cypionate's probably not the best thing to give you. We can do a 50-50 split, or you can do all nandrolone to get most of the benefit of cypionate without the dangers. So that's kind of how it goes with some of those guys. But talk to your doc. This is a really, really big piece. This is a huge part of your health and wellness. So regardless of where you get it, regardless how you get it, as long as it's monitored by a doc who knows what he's doing, get it done. Quick caveats: not every doctor knows what they're doing with this. Just because they're a medical doctor doesn't mean they have the ability to write the script, but they don't have the knowledge. You should never do one injection a week is the lowest I would recommend. There's a lot of docs who are having you go into the office and they give you this big injection of testosterone every 2 weeks. Horrible plan. You're going to get way more than you need because they want to kind of taper it off towards the end of that deal. So 1 injection a week is the bare minimum. I like twice. You can go to 3 a week if you want to be really fancy and really want to dial those things in. But it's a little bit more advanced. You're going to be working with people who know what they're doing, hopefully, if you're doing it that way. Yeah, that's kind of how that piece plays in. But if you guys are worried about testosterone, think about testosterone, get with somebody who knows what they're doing. It could really, really change a lot of your life. So check it out, get some more information. And if you have any questions, hit us up, questions@chalmerswellness.com. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks.